Jeff, Jessica, can you hear us?
We can hear you now. Yep.
Okay. Everybody please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Jeff Renahan, First Ward.
Bill Carlos, Second Ward.
Jessica Lopez, Third Ward.
Michael Zafone, Fourth Ward.
Ann Schurshin, Sixth Ward.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Jim Nelson, Attorney for the town.
John Baisley, Town Supervisor. We have a rather small agenda tonight. Number one is accept the resignation of Police Assistant Emily Luce. Number two, set a date for public hearing, stop sign intersections Brentwood and Pleasant Ridge. 3, set a date for public hearing, amend Town Code 210-29 Red Oaks Mill Neighborhood Service Center District. 4, waive the permit fee for cider mill tasting event. 5, authorize the supervisor to sign contract with Clark Patterson Lee on an intermunicipal water storage study for the storage tanks. 6, authorize the supervisor to sign Camelot Village agreements. 7, authorize the supervisor to sign Marist Centerpoint agreements. 8, set a date for public hearing of special district budgets. 9, accept certificate of attendance, Peter Finelli. 10, notification of legal, following claimant been referred to legal, Ankler versus the town, Clement versus the town. 11, accept declaration of covenants and restrictions across easement, IDOM Equities Development Project. I'd like to make a motion, suspend the rules for any item on the agenda.
So
Second.
moved.
Second.
All those in
Before
favor?
you accept comments, Mr. Supervisor, did you want to mention that there's,
Yeah, I was gonna wait till this comment part was over.
pardon me.
Yeah. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Does anybody like to discuss any item on the agenda? If not,
Somebody has their hand raised.
The iPhone.
who was it, Felicia?
I'm not sure.
David
It just
Robinson.
It says iPhone.
Are we discussing the historic gas station today, or calling the wrong?
No, could you just get a little closer to your speaker? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I say, are we discussing the historic gas station today? I'm on the wrong meeting.
No, you're on the wrong meeting. Stewart's Gas Station is in front of the zoning board at this time. If you call in the morning, my office at 485-3607, I'll fill you in where they stand and where the meetings are.
Okay, thank you very much, man. You guys have a good night now.
You're quite welcome.
Bye.
Sorry, nobody else.
All right, make a motion to resume the rules.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Just let it be known that Fifth Ward Councilman Matt Wollover, as of August 30th, 2020, moved his residence from the town of Poughkeepsie to another town in the county, and which makes him vacating his seat, so he resigned as of the 30th. So we'd like to wish Matt the best of luck. We will be going forward over the next couple of weeks, looking for a candidate to replace the Fifth Ward. So we will put an announcement out for that. Best of luck, Matt, moving forward in your life.
Jay, are we accepting resumes or
Yes.
inquiries about the seat for,
Yes, I've received a couple already. Yep.
okay, and those should go to you if anyone else is interested?
Yep, send them, and then once I get them, we'll put an announcement out. We'll wait a few days and give a deadline, and then we'll interview from that time on.
Perfect.
I think that was all I had for that. Number one, Jeff?
Be resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does accept with regret the resignation of Emily Luce, police assistant with the town of Poughkeepsie Police Department, effective September 4th, 2020. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 6-0.
Resolution 2, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the 23rd day of September 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as and for the time, date, and place of a public hearing to consider a local law amendments to the Town Code, Chapter 195, entitled Vehicle and Traffic, Specifically, Section 195-44, Schedule 9, stop intersections, with the language to be added underlined and the language to be deleted stricken as follows. Add 2, Section 195 sub 44, Schedule 9, stop intersections. Stop sign on Pleasant Ridge Road North, Brentwood Drive. Stop sign on Pleasant Ridge Road South at Brentwood Drive. Be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby determine that this traffic control change is a Type 2 action requiring no environmental review. Be it further resolved that said local law, if adopted, shall become effective immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second?
We have a motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Whereas the town board has received a recommendation from Councilman Carlos that local law amendments be made to Chapter 210 entitled zoning, specifically 210-29 entitled Red Oaks Mill Neighborhood Services Center, ROMNSC District, and whereas the proposed amendments are annexed here too as Exhibit A and incorporated herein as if recited verbatim, with words underlined to be added and those words stricken to be deleted. And the town board does direct that said amendments be spread across the record as if they in fact had been read verbatim. And whereas this action to amended zoning law is a Type 1 action under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and an environmental assessment form, EAF, is annexed here too. And whereas the town board has determined that the proposed amendment must be referred to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Economic Development and to the Town Planning Board for review and recommendation. And whereas the amendment requires a public hearing, now therefore be it resolved that 1, the town board hereby states that because only the town board can consider and adopt changes to the town code, that it is the only involved agency, and the board hereby declares that it is lead agency for purposes of coordinating the environmental review of this matter pursuant to Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law, and 2, the town board hereby sets a public hearing on the proposed amendments for October 7th, 2020 at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may come to be heard in the Town Hall, 1 over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York. And 3, the town board refers this matter to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Economic Development for a recommendation pursuant to GML 239-M. And 4, the town board refers this matter to the planning board for an advisory report pursuant to Town Code sections 210-154. And 5, the town board directs the town clerk to notify the town clerks of each of the surrounding municipalities of the public hearing pursuant to GML 239-NN. So moved.
Second?
We got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Whereas the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie has heretofore received an application submitted by Cider Mill Friends of Open Space and Historic Preservation Incorporated to hold the 8th Annual Old Fashioned Cider Tasting event at the historic Kimlin Cider Mill, Cedar Avenue, Poughkeepsie, New York, on Saturday, October 3rd, 2020, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And whereas the presence of food vendors is a vital part of a successful event, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie, does not include the vendors of food participating in old-fashioned cider tasting as peddlers and hawkers. And these vendors are thereby exempt from the provisions of Chapter 151 of the Town Code. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application as submitted for said event to be held on Saturday, October 3rd, 2020, between 11 and 3, and does hereby waive all permit fees relating to the old-fashioned cider tasting event pursuant to a request received by Lisa Weiss, President, a copy of which is attached. So moved.
Second.
Yeah, I don't know if this makes any difference or not, but it's actually 11 to 4 this year. She may have missed it when she wrote it, because
Okay.
we're doing it for 5 hours, and it's going to be a very COVID-friendly event where everyone has to wear masks, socially distance, and we're going to try to keep everybody moving through as quickly as possible. So
Okay.
it's going to be a little bit different this
You
year.
make that one amendment to change it 3 to 4 o'clock?
Yeah, it's from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Got a motion, we got a second on that?
Second.
And got a motion and a second on the item on the agenda, a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And one abstain.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion passes 5-1.
Okay, we still have 5 though, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, pardon me.
Oh, I'm on. Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute a contract with Clark Patterson Lee Architects, Engineers, Landscape Architect and Surveyor, DPC, DBA, CBL, for preparation of an intermunicipal water storage study in substantially formed annex and on such other terms as acceptable to the supervisor and the attorney for the town. And be further resolved that contracting for the aforesaid services are a type 2 action under N 6 NYCRR 617.527, requiring no secret review, and because they involve planning and do not commit the town to any further course of action, so moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Just so you know, on this one, this is covered by grant money through the county. We had, I think it was 4 or 5 RFPs come in. We interviewed them with Dutchess County Water and Wastewater in Pleasant Valley, because Pleasant Valley is looking to hook into water through the Joint Water Board. So it would be the 3 organizations trying to build another water plant, if that's the feasibility, as opposed to building, not another water plant, 3 water storage tanks.
Right.
You know, as opposed to building 3, they'd be looking to build 1 big one. And we thought this was the best fit because they knew the most about our plan. So all 3 of us have decided that this was the best.
Good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby accept the declaration establishing an easement and maintenance agreement for the stormwater management facility regarding the project known as Camelot Mobile Home Park and Storage. Be it further resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to sign the site distance clearing easement and maintenance agreement and any supporting recording documents in regard to the Camelot Mobile Home Park Storage Project in substantially the form attached. Be it further resolved that such acceptance and authorization by the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie is subject to the approval of all final documents by the Town Attorney, Planning Board Attorney, Town Engineer, and the Director of Municipal Development for the Town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to sign a site distance clearing easement and maintenance agreement and sidewalk maintenance agreement and any supporting recording documents in regards to the Center Point Commercial Development Project, AKA Maris Center Point LLC, in substantially the form attached, and be it further resolved that such acceptance and authorization by the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie is subject to the approval of all final documents by the Town Attorney, Planning Board Attorney, Town Engineer, and the Director of Municipal Development for the Town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Resolution number 8. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the 7th day of October 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as and for the time, date, and place of a public hearing in regard to the Special District Assessment Roll, which concerns the water districts, sewer districts, and drainage districts of the Town of Poughkeepsie, and be it further resolved that such proposed special districts budgets will be on file in the Town of Poughkeepsie Clerk's Office on Tuesday, September 8th, 2020, and available for review. So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the certificate of attendance for Peter Finelli for a 2-hour educational session on land use presented by the Land Use Law Center, a copy of which is attached. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Number 10 is notification of following claims for the legal. 1, Ankler versus the town. 2, Clement versus the town. Resolution number 11, be it resolved, the town board, town of Poughkeepsie does hereby acknowledge receipt of a to-be-recorded declaration of covenant and restriction and cross easement for shared parking regarding the IDOM Equities Development Project at 23 Davis Avenue, by which declaration the owner of the two parcels has acknowledged and accepts certain reporting and other obligations to the town as required by the planning board. So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. I'd like to make a motion to put one item on as a special consent to set a date for a public hearing for 819 Main Street, Hoffa Holdings. It's for parking for 819 Main Street. They have to have a public hearing to sign an agreement with the town for the 3 parking lot spots up top.
Okay, so moved.
Is there a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Right. Make a motion to set a public hearing for parking for 3 spots to be built along Woodcliff Avenue, Hoffa Holdings, Jones, 819 Main Street, east of the convenience store. It needs 3 additional parking spaces for site plan approval. They'll build them in the rear of the building, doing the paving on Woodcliff in the town right away, and allow people to use our roads, use the parking, like for outdoor dining, except, and with consent of the plaintiffs, a public hearing. These spots will be off the pavement with a wrought iron fence down the street. They can use by the public and people from Hoffa Holdings. The use of spaces may be rescinded on a 6-month notice because it's a licensing agreement. So I move with unanimous consent to put this on the September 23rd board meeting as a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions on that one? This is just to get that project moving forward. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. That brings us to the end of our agenda. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any item at all.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody like to discuss any item at all?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, this is Anthony Cuccello. How are you?
Okay.
Just wanted to mention a couple things here. On the agenda, I didn't catch the beginning of the meeting, but there's a public hearing, I guess, to amend the town code relating to stop signs at the intersection of Brentwood and Pleasant Ridge.
Correct.
In conjunction with that, I noticed there's a section in the code, 195-37, and that relates to the schools. One of the areas that's had a little bit of difficulty is in the vicinity of Kinry Road with speed. And in that particular section, there's several schools that the speed limits have been reduced to 20 miles an hour. And I know there was a study done recently and the police have that, the numbers on that. But what I'd like to suggest, and I know it's not a popular idea, I would try to encourage the town to reduce the speed limits within neighborhoods to 20 miles an hour. We've had kids that are able to drive, students. It was particularly around, the time that high school students get out. 30 miles an hour to them means every corner, every turn is 30 miles an hour. And in the neighborhood, people do drive fast. The stop signs do limit to some degree the speed, but the stop bars wear out. They need to be redone. In the interest of safety in the neighborhoods, I would like to see the speed limits reduced to 20 miles an hour. It's basically the same neighborhoods that are 30 miles an hour. It's the same speed limit on Vassar Road, which is a county road, and that should be 30 miles an hour, but it's been raised to 40, I guess. That's, a double yellow line with lines on it. So I know there's budget issues, that sort of stuff, but in some of the neighborhoods, there's issues, I think it should be looked at. And my concern is that I have kids, and there's other kids in the neighborhood. You know, for years it maybe didn't matter because the younger kids had grown up years before us, and you know, they moved on, but the neighborhoods have a resurgence of younger families with younger kids. And these days, you know, there's a lot going on in the cars, cell phones, and there's just isn't the enforcement to watch all of that stuff. So the first thing would be to look at the code 195-38 as it relates to the school zone and try to apply that to the Kinry Road area. The next would be to, you know, take a look at speeds within the town, especially if you have 30 miles an hour in the neighborhoods. I
Mr.
think it's a
Kelly?
little excessive.
We will look into that, and I'm not sure, I'll look deeper into it, but I think the town's only allowed one speed
Yeah, that's
limit.
correct. The
One
manual traffic control devices says the town can only reduce the speed limit to 30. It can go to 20 in
Or
school
one
zones.
speed limit, I think. It's not necessarily 30, it's just one speed limit in town.
Right.
But
But the school zones are also 20 miles an hour.
But the supervisors and mayors of the county, we've been meeting this year along that line, that there are other towns that would like to lower them, so they're getting together to send a letter to the state to see if they could correct that law so we could change them in neighborhoods in different areas of the town, because as Bill had stated, one of the only places we can change it is in the school zones, and like Vassar Road, that's governed, you know, county and state roads are different, but town roads, we have to have the same speed limit throughout the town unless it's a school zone. So we have
Right.
worked with the supervisors and mayors to try to get something together to send it up to the state to see if they will change that law, because if you said roads are busier than they were years ago, so it's something we are looking at on a different avenue.
Right, and just to reiterate, the section 195-37 of our code, section 195-38, school speed zones, and I wasn't able to get all of them, but Oak Grove, St. Martin de Poors, Sheaf Road, I think Hagentown, are all 20 miles an hour. So, you know, I'm kind of been able to see this thing because I do live in the neighborhood, but the way the district is drawn up for Kinry Road, you're basically looking at kids that are coming from the Wappingers area, and they're being driven in. So now you have in the morning all the buses, all the parents that are dropping off their kids, and I don't see that diminishing by any standard at this point. And they're racing in and out. And like I said, the study's been done, the data's there. 30 miles an hour is, you know, not the mean speed limit I think that they're even doing. But, you know, the ones that are adhering to it or going less are probably the people that live in the neighborhood.
All right, we'll look into it
so-
further. I'll give a call
All
over
right.
and talk to traffic for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak? No? No? Motion to resume the rules?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Before we close, I'd just like to make the announcement that today, St. Francis Hospital opened up their pediatric emergency room. As everybody said with social media today, it'd get the word out, as they know, Vassar Hospital closed their pediatric emergency room last month. So St. Francis is opening it, and as we all know, it's the Maria Ferrari Hospital, so the connection they have at Westchester Medical is a direct connect now. They have a 5-bed unit and a 3-bed emergency room unit up there. So they opened as of today, they're ready, willing to go. Last year, Vassar Hospital transported over 600 patients down to Westchester. So St. Francis is hoping that this will be able to keep some of their families closer and be able to give them the care they needed, still transport them if needed, but hopefully they can give them some of that acute care needed when the accident or the incident happens. So just please spread the word, because as you said, what we put in the paper and on social media, families don't always know that it's available. They think Westchester and Albany are their only two options, so now they have another option. And as you know, St. Francis has their helipad and everything else, so they do have their trauma center. They have a lot to offer there, and I think this was definitely a win-win for our area, because it's gonna help all the hospitals across the river, you know, going as far as Kingston, some of their other hospitals. So this is definitely something that I think the town and the county should be proud that it was accomplished in such a short period of time. St. Francis thought it was in dire need as soon as they heard that Vassar was gonna be getting out of this end of it. They thought this is something that definitely was needed here, that they would jump on board, and within 2.5 months, they put it all together and they opened up, so they're ready to go today. So if anybody knows or hears if anybody needs it, just make sure you pass the word out that this is now available.
I'm at Mid-Hudson Regional Hospital. I'm at Mid-Hudson Regional
What did it say,
Hospital.
Vassar?
St. Francis.
Oh.
Many times.
Yeah, well,
Well, I know
I'm used to
it's
St. Francis, you're right.
Yeah,
Mike.
it's
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Mid-Hudson
Mid-
Regional.
I still
Regional.
call it St. Francis.
Mid-Hudson
For
Regional.
all of us
Yeah.
old people, it's St.
It's
Francis.
still St. Francis,
Yeah,
correct. I will correct
we
myself.
know what you're talking about.
Mid-Hudson Regional, yes. Yeah, does anybody have anything else to announce? No? What do you got?
Resolution 9-2, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby adjourn to executive session to consider the following: discussions regarding proposed pending or current litigation. 2, proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property, or the proposed acquisition of securities or sale or exchange of securities held by the town when publicity would substantially affect the value thereof, and matters subject to attorney-client privilege. This executive session will also have mail-in capability for our councilman. Thank you. So moved.
Second.
A motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Town of Poughkeepsie goes into executive session at 7:27 PM.
Yeah, I
Is it-
think all of the board members received a copy of the call-in number.
Yep, Mary, yep.
Okay, about 5 minutes, we'll be in there. Thanks.